So I thought I had all sorts of like justifications for why I bought this, but really the reason is just I thought it was cool and it was really cheap. Am I in frame? Looks like it. This is an old moped, and it's a literal moped, a motorized pedal cycle, not like a tiny motorcycle or a step-through scooter. This was pretty much all the rage back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. This is a late 70s model. It was actually sold at Sears, I believe. This was a catalog model. Made by an Austrian company with a 50cc engine that makes 1 and 2 horsepower. Not exactly stats that are going to set the world on fire, but these engines are incredibly popular, and the parts aftermarket even today is absolutely bonkers. But that's not what I'm interested in right now. Right now I'm just interested in getting this thing running and working. It did run when I bought it. The guy I bought it from fired it up and showed me that it ran, but it needs quite a bit. Fortunately, the popularity of these means that parts are also cheap. So I have about $200 worth of stuff coming for this that we're going to install in this episode to see if we can make this thing ride. I guess I should mention what specifically this thing is. This is a Puch Free Spirit. Puch is an Austrian company. They made bicycles and they made mopeds. And this is the Free Spirit. I believe this is a deluxe because it had these things. No, that's plastic. Interesting. I thought that was metal. And it has the provisions for the rear rack, and it had front suspension. And we'll get into why I say had here in a moment. So right off the bat here, we're just going to walk around and take a look at all the things, how these work, what they do. Effectively, it's a motor-assisted bicycle. Over on this side, you have your normal bicycle chain and your cranks, and it goes back to the rear wheel. And then on this side, you have a heavier duty chain and the 50cc gas motor. And let's talk about the obvious first. This thing is very methed up. Obviously, it was stolen at some point. The guy I bought it from bought it as a box of parts that had just been passed around so much that it was missing a whole bunch of stuff. He got it running again, and then decided it wasn't really something that he wanted, and that's where I came in. So yeah, the green paint is going to go eventually, but first I would just like to get this thing functional. So the way this thing works is if you're just right along using your pedals, you would pull a lever here, which is absent, which would pull on this, which is currently rigged up with a 10mm wrench, which came with the bike, so really that was worth the money right there. But that lever would pull this, which temporarily connects the clutch to the rear wheel, and that spins the motor over, it fires up, and then away you go. I think there's like a one-way slipper clutch in there as well, so that, you know, if the engine's idling, you can still be rolling and not be swinging. I don't know. Stuff happens. It's mostly magic, and the bike moves in a forward direction. And then you would have a twist throttle, which here is a Shimano grip shifter that actuates in the wrong direction with the wrong cable. This would be the rear brake. The front brake is currently missing in action. Yes, and the throttle goes down to this. The wrong carburetor. It's a Briggs & Stratton. Yeah, it's a lawnmower carb. I have no idea how this works. It is just siliconed onto the intake here, which is actually the correct intake. I'm completely baffled that works at all. But the engine did run and it sounded strong, so that was enough for me to pick this thing up. Let's look at all the other issues it has. Obviously, all these hand controls are completely trash and missing. Cables are completely trash. None of the electrics are hooked up. It's missing the front fender. The front brake is not hooked up. Is that a Speedo drive? Oh, this was a deluxe, wasn't it? Oh, so this had a Speedo. This is absolutely horrifying. No to all of that. Fuel tank's in good shape. We've got this hilarious double petcock arrangement here. Obviously the carb is an absolute disgusting mess. We have This eccentric dealio is a mess. I have no idea what's going on here. The center stand's good. The crankset is good. The pedals are good. Moving further back, we've got the coil. This chain is in okay shape. It's a little dry, needs lubed. Yeah, it's probably fine. But it is not very tight. Wheel just moves forward and back, and you can tension it that way, though. This exhaust is completely blown out. Oh. Yeah, that exhaust is trashed. The shocks. Yeah, that's what you want. Brake. Yeah, the brake light doesn't work. The seat is kind of trashed. This shock, same story. I just noticed that this tensioner is missing completely, which means the wheel has been pulled over to the right and is touching the swing arm. So that's always good. And then there's this spring-loaded tensioner for the pedal side that is also missing, and actually I think that pretty much does it. It's not an insurmountable list of things, and I have bought pretty much all of this already for about $200, so not bad if that's enough to get it running. Hopefully. Just sitting on it though, kind of interesting. Like it's like a bicycle, but really short. The seat to stem distance is really short, which gives you kind of a very easygoing, pleasing vibe. And, you know, I just kind of pedaled it around my yard a little bit, but I really enjoyed riding this. And I never put much stock into this form factor. You know, I never gave these things any thought, but immediately I can see how this would be a whole lot of fun to own. I mean, I'm into biking. I've got my gravel bike over there, but I'm really tired of only biking within the radius of my house that I can get to on my bike, or taking the wheels off, loading it in the car, driving somewhere, unloading it, all that. With this, I just fire up the gas motor, ride to a park or something, and then pedal around in silence for a while until I'm ready to go home. It's great. Or it will be great, hopefully. So, like I said, I ordered parts, and most of those parts are still on the way. But two of those parts did get here, so we're going to do those right now, and then we'll skip to the future when the rest of the parts are here. So the parts that got here are some universal handlebar clamps and some universal shocks. This was the order off Amazon. Like I said, parts for these, absolutely everywhere. So I was able to get a majority of the stuff that I wanted from actual scooter supply stores. Nifty. But this stuff just came a little bit generic. I couldn't find bike-specific versions of it at those stores, so this is what I did instead. Well, yeah, that is definitely a shock absorber. I absolutely hate how modern these look, but it should get the job done. And this particular one, I'll have a link in the description to this. The only review that had pictures was a guy who put them on a Puch. So, yeah, that's a good sign, I guess. Let's go ahead and yank the old one back. Actually, let me compare length here. I literally didn't measure any of this. I just kind of ordered these. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a little bit lower, but I don't have a rear fender, so that doesn't matter a lot, I guess. Oh, it's not that bad. And these are length adjustable, so I actually think I can make this work. Bafflingly enough, despite every bolt holding these two shocks on here being different, they're all still 13 millimeters. Oh, they're 13 millimeters and exit through bolts. Dang it. The goal here is to get this bike functional and then worry about aesthetics, and then potentially worry about performance mods. There we go. Just kind of some sleeves, which are not the right size. I don't know, press these sleeves out. Oh, isn't that lucky. Take the bushings out there, a couple of concha bushings with a sleeve, and that sleeve fits perfectly into the sleeve on the shocks. So I'll just get this rubber out of here. That'll be good to go. seems perfectly acceptable. Yeah! Nice! The color combo, I don't know about the green and blue, but functional. Wow, that is a happy looking. So this is another one of those things that I got generic. They're just little triple tree clamps. And I'm gonna put them right there. It's a little bit further back of where the bar was previously, but hey, it might be a little bit more ergonomic, who knows? These also feel like the cheapest aluminum I have ever felt. I ended up using the front holes because the rear ones kept running into the stem, but hey, there we go. That feels a lot more sturdy. So, I'll see you guys again on Tuesday when more parts show up. It's been 2 days, now it's Tuesday. Actually, it's been 3 days, but that was more fun to say. Also, I fixed the audio. Imagine my annoyance when I buy something neat and start making a video about it and find out that the audio is trash on half my footage. Plug came out of the receiver just a little bit. So, not much has happened here. Apparently, yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I did get these generic tensioners. This tensioner was missing, so now that's tensioned. Now the motor-driven side is properly tensioned. This side is still completely wackadoo, but the tire didn't rub on the swing arm anymore, so I was able to ride it around a little bit in pedal power, and that sure exists. So now I've got this box of parts here. Let's see, we got all new cables. This would be the left side grip, right side throttle and brake, carburetor, intake. Yes, that is the intake. Literally just a 90 degree. Sure. And this is a carb. This thing's adorable. This is a clone because the company that makes these doesn't exist anymore. But it's a Bing carburetor. So there you go, that's a Bing carb. There's the choke, and it has a priming plunger as well. Bing Carbsby. There's a joke no one my age is gonna get. Let's see, what else we have? Tensioner for the bicycle side of things. The clutch eccentric thing. Why does that have so much going on? And a air filter. So lots of stuff to throw on. I think we're gonna start here because then it'll really be rideable. And I don't think I'm actually gonna put this whole piece on because this isn't even for this bike. Yeah, obviously that's a bit different, but I think I can put the wheel on and then that'll properly tension this so this won't skip when I'm trying to pedal. Oh, also I lubricated all of the chains, which helped massively. I rode this like 20 feet and went, wow, that's really tough. And then I lubricated it, and hey, wouldn't you know, suddenly it's a lot easier. So let's see if I can get this on. Hey, well, guess what? It's on. It seems to work fairly well. This thing needs a new chain though. Look at that master link. Woof! That is not healthy. So, yep, there we go. Chain is tight, I guess. Let's do this clutchy thingy here next. It's supposed to work like this with a pull cable, not an 11/32 wrench. But hey, free 11/32 wrench. That's going in the wrench drawer. And now it looks like I need a pick and or a flathead. Straight pick will work, I guess. Okay, well, that's cute. I don't know what the heck was going on. That is some grade A bodge job engineering. So let's dive into the parts bucket here. Where is, there it is. Yeah, that came with a new little C-clip as well. Cast aluminum, gross. What a nasty feeling material. Okay, so then that just goes. So it turns out this cover has to come off.
can kind of see how this works. Spins that, and then when you push on the end, it locks it all together. And then on the inside of here, there's this cam, locks it all together. And I believe we want the cam at 90 degrees there. Then put this guy on here, 90 degrees off like that. Rotate it till it picks up the spring, and then put the circlip back on. So now we put this back on, ignoring the frankly suspicious amount of metal shavings around in here. That ought to be good. This looks like a new gasket. Someone's been in here. Yeah, it feels decent. Let's see here. Put this definitely factory original bracket on here. How's our clearance? Non-existent. Wait, this is supposed to go here. Why isn't it? Why is this bolt wrong? What are you? What mysteries do we have to solve? Yeah, no, that's where that goes. So why wasn't it there? Why? That's why the nut seems too short. There's a zillion washers on the other side. Why are there a zillion washers on the other side? Absolutely no reason for those to be there. Now that fits. Very confused by all of this. And hey, look at that. That has enough room. That is definitely not where the throttle cable goes, though. Oh, and I realize why there's two cams on here. Because since that's a flat cam in there, or why there's two cable attachments. Since there's it's a flat cam in there that can go any direction, you could have the cable routed backwards and be, you could have this oriented so that you pull it back to engage the clutch instead of forward. I think on this bike it's supposed to go forward. So that's the way I'm going to set it up. These are posi drive. They got the little X across them. Next up, I'm going to do the cables and the hand controls. This is all from Denny Cycles. I love that you can still get new stuff for old junk like this. We've got... I don't know what Remkabelvoer means, but we have a starter cable, gas cable, and a brake plate cable, so that must be, gas, rear, that must be front brake, I guess? Front brake, yeah. We'll see. And then we've got the left and right hand controls, so we'll need to get this nonsense off first. I'm going to use a knife. These are just mountain bike parts. That's straight up a Schwinn grip shift, or a Revo shift. Sure, let's Revo shift it off of the bike. Mildly infuriatingly, I don't actually have the piece that hooks up the brake lines. There's like a barrel thing that goes in here. You stick this through, and then you lock it in place with another piece. And since there was no OEM brakes here before, I have no way to hook that up. But I did get the starter lever hooked up. There it goes, and there it goes. A fair amount of preload was necessary. I don't know if that's because mine's worn out or what, but it does seem to work now. So now it's on to the carburetor and shenanigans. So here we have a Briggs & Stratton carb. That's wrong. None of this is supposed to be here. What? Ooh, that's... Yeah, no, don't like that. So a couple tens takes it off, and I still can't believe that that's what the intake manifold looks like. That's ridiculous. Let's yank this off and... Oh gosh, did they clearance for it? Oh, they cut up the engine casing to make clearance for that thing. That is definitely something. Wow. I'm impressed that ran at all. Okay, well this is all awful and I hate it. The throttle cable is way too long, so it's just kind of hanging out. The fuel line hits the everything, so the carb is tilted at a jaunty angle, which I'm sure is fine. Oh yeah, no brakes. Air filter does not fit on. I'll have to mess with that a little bit later, but that's kind of the least of my concerns right now. If I had brakes and a throttle cable, it's just cables, man. I ordered a kit of cables, and I guess they were for a maxi, but damn it. At any rate, we'll see if it works and go from there. Buy kill switch. Note to self. Alright, so I need to figure out my cable situation, I need to figure out my air filter situation. It definitely runs like garbage, partly because the carb's not tuned, partly because the exhaust is trashed, and I need to make a kill switch that'll ground the coil. Other than that, it runs! And it sounds healthy. Loud, but healthy. So, I'll see you whenever I finally decide to work on this again. I don't know, I'm kind of tired. Thanks for watching.